What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Karen Oliver, and welcome to Inside HQ. We're coming to you straight from World of Dance headquarters, but this podcast isn't about what goes on inside of these walls. It's about the amazing people on the outside who are building the movement, shaping the culture, and keeping the community alive. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest, Monika Policemith.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, World of Dance. I'm excited too.
Exciting. I mean, I'm the hugest fan of Monika's. I am so excited. You are an incredible mover, director, dancer, creative director, choreographer. She does it all, guys. She literally does it all.
Thank you.
You have a lot of experience in the industry. You have done jobs with artists such as J-Lo, Felice, Doja Cat. You've also done jobs with like the Rolling Stones, Olivia Rodrigo. She's also worked with amazing brands like Nike. You've done Gatorade. You've also done American Eagle recently as well.
Yeah.
She is bi-coastal, which means that she is based in LA as well as New York, which is so incredibly exciting for you.
Thank you.
She's also VMA nominated. I know. Insane. And she also has a World Choreography Award. She's the co-founder and co-director of Loom Dance Collective as well. And you can find her teaching sometimes pop-ups here and there as well.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to say to the audience?
Wow, thank you. No, I'm really grateful to be here, and these kinds of conversations make me excited. I'm excited to talk to you, and feel free to open up the vault, pick the brain, and let's have some good combo.
Amazing.
Yeah.
To get kind of started, I'd love for you to kind of give the audience a brief introduction of your movement and how would you kind of describe your style?
Yeah. That's always a challenging question for me, which means it's a great question. Well, I am trained in a little bit of everything. And for years, I studied very seriously, classically in ballet and pointe. I also explored the commercial world, did a lot of convention growing up. I had the privilege of being driven into New York City and taking classes at BDC. I kind of was able to live there on the weekends, which was so nice. And so my style has such a large range that I feel like or my training is so broad that I think my style sort of is like funneled into a mixture of all of the things that encompasses me and what I've learned. And so I kind of allow myself to just sort of close my eyes, listen to the music, or if the creative is calling for something specific, but I allow all of those styles to sort of leak out in this way. And so I don't like to put myself in this specific box, like I only do contemporary, I only do ballet, I only do jazz or hip hop, whatever you want to say. I call it like this fusion of things, which just makes it me. But I also feel like why I'm able to, and so grateful to be able to work in such a space where like my work is so broad and ever morphing and changing, and the jobs that I work on can be so different from one day to the next because of all of my experience and my training. So that's me, a big fusion.
That's an amazing kind of way of describing your own style.
Thanks.
I feel like anytime that I've encountered that question for myself, I always feel like it's super, I can't just say like, oh, like what kind of dance do you do?
Yeah.
All of it.
Everything
at the same time.
Yep.
In one singular strand of choreography. All of it.
I feel like if you put yourself in just one space, you're limiting yourself to other things. So it's always a really tough question to ask or to answer in like one word.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I feel you on that.
When you got into dance, what kind of sparked that joy for movement and that passion for dance?
Yeah, I mean, it is the joy that movement brings, right? You pretty much said it, but when I started, I was 3. So when you're a kid, you it's not serious. It's fun. It's literally just joy, right? So there's no fear behind it. There's no pressure or anything. So I feel like I remember my first recital. It was to Pinocchio, Got No Strings, and like we had elastics on our wrists that attached to our tap shoes, and it was just a super cute concept. But I remember like being on stage being like, this is like, you know, my heart was exploding, this is amazing. And you know how you have like the assistant teachers on the side, and like they're like, you're 3, right? So they're like, oh, watch me. And it was funny, my mom was like, you didn't look to the side once. You looked at the audience the whole time, which is super cool. And so I feel like that was my like start to being like, I love this. This feels great. I love performing. And then, you know, you get older and there starts to be this pressure. And I remember being like, I don't know if I want to be the performer all the time. I think that I want to help create these stories, which is when I started to kind of like dabble in choreography, create. And I started like, my sister and I started choreographing my solos in competition. So that was kind of like my eye into like, oh, there's something else like behind this. You don't have to just be the vessel. You can be the thing that creates the thing, right? Totally. And then hire vessels like yourself to then be able to have them carry out this sort of vision. So I feel like this initial spark and love of dance is just so kind of like young and free, and then it becomes this sort of like pressured thing that sort of takes that spark away, which is, it kind of sucks and is so sad that happens, because there's this pressure that we put on ourselves. But and I very much did that and was able to sort of like find a way around that and free myself of that pressure and be able to, you know, sort of freely create. So that's where I'm at now, you know? Yeah.
With that, and with all of your projects that you do now, as we mentioned, she's done absolutely everything.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of multimedia happening in diverse spaces. How do you adapt your choreographic voice depending on the space?
It's communication. That's kind of the biggest thing. And for me, I actually really love having creative parameters. And so no matter what sort of media I'm working in, right, whether it's print, whether it's a music video for an artist, whether it's a live stage set for an artist, a feature, whatever this may be, I love seeing the deck. I love asking all of the questions first and then being able to create from there. I actually, because I get to work so much, it's very rare that I get something where like we don't have any parameters creatively. We don't have a story. We don't have a concept, right? That makes it so much harder for me. Even when I'm creating my own stuff, like I have to now, because I'm so used to that, I have to now give myself this creative sort of boundary or just something to kind of jump off from to help sort of like narrow down, okay, what is it that I'm doing? So it's communicating with the team. It's a team group effort. And then from there, I'm able to then find my creative voice within that without straying too far away from what's needed. However, when you are asked to do the job, you also have to be confident in that you were asked to do this for a reason, right? So, of course, there's like self-doubt that's going to come in, and there's you're going to question yourself because we're all human beings, but then saying to yourself, okay, I'm here because of my work, my body of work, where I've been, where I'm coming from, and what I'm able to do in the moment. And so just also having that, like, kind of giving yourself that pep talk, like, I'm here because of a reason, because of what I do.
Totally.
Because of my talent and my creative ability. And now I'm here to also aid this concept and this group and this team to the finish line.
Right.
You know? So it's funny. It's like not so much about the movement. And I'm learning that more and more as I mature in my career, but it's really about making sure you're all on the same page. You know all of the information to then move forward with confidence. And then it's like the ball's rolling, it's easy.
Right.
But yeah.
Wow. That was insane. That was, wow. I'm like, totally.
It's funny, like, it's not really about the moves all the time. And like, once I figured that out and like said to myself, oh, I don't have to be so married to this movement. Also, it's from me, so it's gonna be my stuff anyway. It's gonna be my creative voice, because it's coming from me. Totally. So you have to kind of trust that filter in what's happening, and just say, I have to trust that whatever I do is gonna be strong. It's gonna be good. I have to be proud of it, and not let anything sort of like cloud that. But yeah, it's not so much about, it's almost like the movement is like the cherry on top.
Right.
It's the prep.
It's everything that goes along with it.
Everything.
For sure. When you are given a brief for a specific artist or a specific job, you kind of touched on this already a little bit, but how do you maintain your personal artistic voice when, let's say, the brief is extremely specific or your creative boundaries are super close in?
Yeah. It's playing around, getting versions of the thing, right? So like, I never worked with an assistant before I did, right? And I used to kind of just like stay really within my head and really internalize it and kind of like be really quiet about it. And it was all very heady. I was all very up here. And then I started to, and that's kind of what makes you really married to it. When you're not like pumping out the material, or at least just like, let's try the first thing. Let's try something, right? So once I started working with an assistant, I realized, oh, this isn't actually like inhibiting my creative freedom. This is actually adding so much to it and creating so many variables and varieties to what I'm creating. So I think for me, it's like, okay, this is what the creative vision is and the creative needs for the project. Maybe it's super like the like out of bounds is like really narrow, right? And you have to kind of stay in this one lane. I like to then go, okay, let's just try something, right? Send it off to director, creative director. If it's a commercial, the creative agency, even the client gets to see this, right? You get feedback and then you go, okay, cool. Now I know whether I'm in the lane or I need to veer back into it because I strayed too far from it. But getting that feedback helps me so much to continue to find my creative voice within me, right? Like, okay, so, but how can I make this still feel like me? What if I add this movement, right? Or what if I add this arm? What if I add this head? What if I abstract it a little bit? Because that is how I feel my movement tends to be. How can I still kind of come back and circle back to myself and anchor down like what it is that who I am in this while I'm still tweaking, peeling back the layers, asking for the feedback. So I find it's like versions upon versions upon versions.
Right. As any project ever
any
is always
project
just...
ever. And then just continuing to circle back. Does this still feel like me? Am I proud of this? Or have I been completely stripped from it? But usually the answer is no, because each version just gets stronger and gets better because it's continuing to strengthen it as a whole, right?
Totally.
So I almost find that when I get many notes and I'm really open to it, it makes the work that much stronger because it's you know, you get feedback of things you don't think about because we are just our own brains.
1000%.
And getting that, and you have so many creatives in this situation that someone could give you one note and you go, oh, that's really great. I did not think about that. I'm gonna go in that direction now. And it opens up a whole other can of of possibilities. So you're never stripping your own voice away from it. I'm never worried about that.
Wow.
I don't know why.
That's really interesting. I feel like just the concept itself of like a creative boundary.
Yeah.
I feel like for some artists, they see it as super limiting and like it's kind of dimming the light of their own vision. Yeah. Versus your approach is like completely the opposite side, where it's like I can find myself within that boundary
even more clearly than I could before. Right. It's funny, like, I think boundaries are like a scary word, but I actually think it's a really good thing. It's a healthy thing, which is why we have them in our own lives. Like, I'm setting the boundary for myself and I'm going to speak up for myself. Like, that is what the creative boundary does for you, you know? So I said it as in like, it's parameters, it's da-da-da, but you brought it up. Like, it really is so positive, actually. And it makes the creative vision that much stronger. Because you have this sort of anchor point that everybody is going off of, rather than it being all these different lanes and avenues, and it's confusing, and like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Because of this.
I can totally see that, especially when it's like I'm creating my own material and having when it's like the very first stage 1, stage 0, not even stage 1, it's like there is a humongous sea of pathways to go down, and that can get super overwhelming. Yes. And I think even when you have that much freedom, it's even harder to kind of find yourself, because there's so much to explore within that. Yeah. When you're working with artists specifically, do you feel like in commercial work, do you feel like it gets a little harder when there's two artists kind of working together for a product?
I don't feel that way, only because two artists working together will make it that much stronger. Yes, they will have their own boundaries, like, I wouldn't normally do that movement, or my knees hurt, I can't drop down to the floor and do that lower level, or I have an injury, or whatever the case may be. You can always work around it. Right. I also really love to hear their feedback, because that helps me know where I'm at or where the project's at. Like, you want them to be proud of it. It's their face, right? Whether it's a commercial, whether it's their music video or whatever. When you're working with an artist, it really is about the artist first, and then it's your vision after, or in culmination, but it really is about them ultimately. First and foremost, they need to be proud of it, otherwise it's going to show on screen. Right. They need to be proud of it. It's going to show in their posture on stage. Right. And they need to be proud of it, because they are signed on to it, and they are going to be ultimately posting it, hopefully. And if they're not proud of it, it's just not, you can tell. Yeah. You can totally tell, and it falls flat. So I really like working with artists and having those open conversations, like, how do you feel? Does this feel great? Okay, awesome. Like, and you can just tell. Right. You can tell if they're into it. You can tell if they're not. And that's also a big part of my job. It's observing. Like, I just recently discovered this, that I'm like, we as choreographers and movement directors and movement coaches are like the ultimate observer of the space, of the energy. Like, you have to be such an empath, because you're not only dealing with or being aware of the energy of the artist, but you are aware of the director's energy, the DP's energy, their team, the artist's team, right? Their management, their label. And then you have to be aware of the energy that you're getting from the client in a commercial space, from the creative agency. Like, you really have to have your hyper feelers out for everyone, because then you know if you're going in the right direction or not. And then if you're not, you can tell, and we say, okay, what do we need to do to change this? How can we make this feel better? And it might be something as simple as like, they need a lighting change, right? Yes. But like, as the movement director, choreographer, coach, you are the glue, and I've figured this out from just experience, like, you are the glue to the entire production.
Right.
You are the best communicator, even aside from the director, which they're great and should be great communicators as well. Some are not.
1,000%.
Right? But like, and if they're not, you have to adjust to that and help.
Yeah, you got to step in.
You got to step in. And so,
sure.
like, that's why I say almost like movement's the cherry on top, because it's all of these things, all of these layers to the onion before you then go, we feel good enough to then put movement to this now.
Right. Are there specific techniques that you notice yourself using a lot when you are trying to feel the artist's energy and whether they're feeling comfortable with what you're making, or they're feeling proud of what you're making or not?
Well, I can connect that to when I'm working with an artist and I'm working on a live set for them. I love to be able to not give them too many notes at first. I want to just see what they give me. And so I'll put their song on and I'll just watch them perform as they kind of normally would. But then again, they've brought me in and I'm here to make sure that their movement looks great, make sure they look confident, feel confident, all of these things, right? And this is just for like a live set that doesn't involve choreography necessarily. It's just like movement coach, movement direction, help them feel comfortable, right? So I like to just start with them being themselves. And then from there, I'll go, okay. And I then create some creative parameters, creative boundaries for them to then connect to. So that'll help them get, a lot of the time they're really in their head. So that'll help them get out of their head and start to like think about something. It's almost like when a dancer is told to freestyle or improv and you're like, what? Like, what do you want? What style? What? Give me a song, great, I can start to move. But like, is there something you want to see? Right? So I then say to them, okay, how about we play with the mic stand? Don't touch the mic stand the entire time and just put your body behind the mic and do weird things with your body. Just do as much as you can without touching the stand for the whole 3-minute song.
Right.
And you're already giving them, okay, I can't, I can't touch it. Okay. And then they start to go, well, what can I do? And then they create this sort of cool movement for themselves because you just gave them that one thing to think about. Right. So, and then I go, great, once that's done, now let's use the mic stand the whole time. It's a prop. Get down on the floor, use all your levels, move it around the stage, and then it becomes this sort of dance partner. And then they have something else to think about, right? And then they're not so focused on like, what do I look like? So I like to try and find the tools for themselves or help them find the tools for themselves. And by doing so, it's really simple prompts, really simple ideas. Like if you were to tell a dancer who's freestyling to think about water. And move like water, right? So, it's
funny. I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about like, wow, it's literally like you're giving them improv prompts.
But if you told them that, they'd be scared.
They'd freak out.
They'd be like, the improv? You're gonna make me freestyle? I don't dance. And so it's like coming at it in this, I don't want to say like elementary way, but it's like really kind of making it so accessible and not scary at all.
Communicating, like you mentioned, like the best way possible for what their specific need is in that moment.
I mean, you are encouraging them to dance. It's movement. They're moving. But if you called it dance, it'd be really scary. So, I mean, that's my experience with like artists. If I'm having to work with artists in a space where they're not normally comfortable. If they're a dancer, great. You talk to them like a dancer. And we do that all the time. It's our language. But if you have someone who's like, I'm a singer and I have rhythm and I know my music, but I don't know how to move to it because I'm too close to it, you know, then it's like, okay, here are some tools to help you with that.
That's so interesting to hear on your perspective of it all. And especially witnessing like the final product of an artist.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really know that that's how you got there. You know what I mean? Like, it very much seems like, definitely choreographed moves, definitely, I mean, which it is choreographed in a way.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that how you started was through kind of these, like, improvisational prompts, which is so interesting to hear. Have you had a specific project where, whether it be commercial work specifically with an artist or another kind of project with a different media, where it really took you out of your comfort zone and it kind of, you feel like it changed your artistic voice from that project?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so this is interesting because I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to answer in a way that like the process was challenging for me because I had to really think, how are we going to execute this as a whole?
Right.
And that is part of my artistic voice because it is part of the process. It is the starting, well, it is also aiding me and helping me to make my life easier. So I was thinking like, how is this going to happen? So Doja Cat, her Attention music video, it's really beautiful. It's awesome. And we had this one scene where we were downtown. It was really late at night, or probably like 3 a.m.
Right.
Roads are locked off. And we had, probably about 30 background, and then like 13 on-camera principals, and then Doja Cat, right? And I knew in the process that she was going to be coming from another scene. She was going to be doing a quick change, getting, hair and makeup, and then she'd be here. And then we had to be locked. We had to be ready. And we had to have it rehearsed with everybody before we shot. And we only had this amount of time in the schedule to get this scene. And it was a whole verse and maybe a chorus. I can't fully remember. Definitely a full verse. And so I'm on the tech scout and I'm like, the song's unreleased, right? Like, we can't play this out loud downtown Los Angeles on these huge speakers because it's gonna leak.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been afraid of this whole time. So I was like, do we use a click track? So I'm like talking to the producer, I'm like, we could use a click track. And then I'm like, but wait, this scene, she's like walking down the sidewalk, and like things are supposed to be happening around her, to her. People are supposed to be approaching her. Right. She's also supposed to be rapping. Right. So I'm like, how's she going to rap to a click track? So we decided she needs like a in-ear. Mm-hmm. So, but those are expensive, and we can't get those for everybody because they need to be able to hear the song too. Yeah. Because they're going to be doing things at certain times of the song. So I said, okay, I'm going to go home and I'm going to find the BPM and then I'm going to count and record myself counting. And I counted to like 85. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 85, 86, 87. And I counted all the way up until there. I recorded myself. I made sure it matched with the tempo of the song. And then I sent it to production, and they were like, okay, great, we're gonna line, and I said, you have to line up my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to this lyric in the song, because then she'll be perfectly synced in her in-ears with what's happening around her. So what they played on the speakers was me counting. Wow. And the OCP's background, they had like a specific number, because they're not dancers, right? So I'm not counting 8s because that's freaking confusing. Yes. Which 8 am I? 4th 8 or 10th 8, right? Yes. So I just counted up to 87 or whatever. And then I said, okay, on 40, she's going to be right around here. You're just going to cross behind her. on 52, you're going to leave the wall and you're going to cross that way. And so everybody had choreography, and the whole thing was like clockwork. And Doja Cat had no idea. She thought someone was actually like counting on a microphone. And she was like, at one point, she was like, that woman counting is a little loud and I can't hear my in-ears. Can she like not say it as loud? And I was like, that is so funny. I'm standing right next to her. It's just like my voice on the thing. But it really made it go so smoothly. But that whole creative process of like me going, how the heck am I going to get these like humans that are non-dancers, and most of them are actors, like they don't know music. The click track's going to be really confusing. I'm not going to make them count the beats on their own. Yes. How am I going to do this? So that's one where that was really challenging. Yeah. Because I also knew we didn't have a lot of time. Totally. It had to be done. It had to be ready. As soon as she got there, we only had like 4 or 5 takes to like get it. Wow. And we mostly shot them in oneers. And we just got different angles of it. Yeah. To cut together. And it had to be the same every time because we were cutting a profile to a frontal shot to her from behind to close-ups and details. And she's rapping. So like her mouth has to match everything. And so if there's someone that has their arm wrapped around her shoulder in one, shot,
has and to then be exactly the same in every single shot.
And then from the other angle, that person's not there, but she's rapping the same lyrics. It's not going to work. So continuity was so important. And so that, that's one of those things where like, when you're kind of half asleep. Yeah. And your brain's like really intact. Yes. And I almost feel like that's my most free thinking because I'm just like resting there and lying there. That's when I figured that out. I actually figure out a lot of puzzles that I need to figure out. Like, it's not quite my subconscious, otherwise I would never know. So I'm conscious, but like I'm actually like problem solving in that portion of like my rest or my sleep. Wow. So yeah,
that's I mean, the craziest thing I've ever heard, first of all. Second of all, like the fact that you were able to create that solution for yourself. Yeah. Which is really like something that you wouldn't it's not an obvious solution. It's not like, oh yeah, totally everyone does this when we have to shoot these kinds of things. Yeah. It's definitely something that you just had to figure out on your own, and being able to make that digestible for humans, for mortals, like those that don't put themselves through the dances every single day and have the ability to count on the spot whenever and at whatever speed, BPM. Like, that is a crazy solution that I'm gonna keep in mind for sure.
I mean, that's also what brings our value. Someone like us who can speak both of those languages, right? Like that movement language, also this like pedestrian human non-dancer language. We understand both worlds because we live in both of them. So that's what brings such value, or what we bring, the value we bring, having a position like us on set brings to the production, because we can problem solve like that. Like there's the second AD team that's incredible, that like can cue background and create really cool movement happening in the scene, behind the scene. But then when you have something so locked, so specific, so calculated like that, you can't blame them, because they're humans and regular humans, that they don't think dance, they don't think music, they don't think choreography. So,
and having that patience too, to be able to like not get frustrated when someone doesn't understand your way of thinking that you have trained your mind and body for 10 plus years to do. Yep. And they have had zero training in that field. So it's like also being able to communicate while still remaining super patient with people is a great quality to have as well. Yeah. Wow.
I left being like, I earned my paycheck today. I feel so good about it. Yes. Like I really showed that a position like me is worthy on set. And I think every set should have someone who speaks movement. Even if it's a drama acting scene and there's no choreography, movement, blocking, there's always blocking involved. But I always think it's beneficial to at least have another eye on screen.
For those watching that might not necessarily know what movement direction is, can you kind of give them a little introduction?
Yes. In my experience, movement direction is something as simple as being there as the cheerleader, giving them the confidence, the talent, the confidence that they need to carry out their job. Or it's something as involved as like you are creating all of the movement on screen without it being like 5, 6, 7, 8 like intricate 8 counts. So it's kind of like this looser sort of choreographic term world, and it's really challenging to define because it's different for every project, and you do have to be so malleable, and you have to have your head on a swivel, and like I was saying before, you have to be so observant as to like what is being needed in the moment. Like for example, I just did a Skechers commercial, and we were shooting overnight on Monday night. We were in Santa Monica on the promenade, and my job was to help the actors get comfortable being zombies and finding like this zombie like stance and walk. And so how I got them in it is I had them all stand in the room and I was like, all right, great, I'm gonna give you some prompts. Let's think about shoulders. Maybe they're a little off kilter. Maybe your head kind of is not upright. Maybe you have one leg that stays stiff and straight and one leg that bends. Maybe you have internal rotation, one is externally rotated and one is in. Just playing with getting them into these cool, weird shapes and then going, all right, now walk with this. You can't change the way you are standing. You can't change your stance. You can't walk like you'd normally walk, right? And so it was fun to have them kind of play around, and actors so love this because it gets them in their heads and they really think about like their character. And then I'd say, okay, great, maybe your hand doesn't work as well as an able-bodied hand would. Like grab an object, grab this bag of chips, that water bottle, and just keep thinking of yourself as this zombie character. Like you're the undead, you're coming back to life, you're a bit broken, tattered, torn. And so that was really fun. So that was my job. As movement direction on set. That was my job. And then sometimes, for print work, it is the client or agency or photographer or director saying, hey, we really want them in this world of shapes, right? And they'll show me like example photos, which I actually really love, because that's then giving me that creative boundary of like, got it, I know what world you want me in, right? Because if they were like, oh, just come up with some cool poses, I'd be like, great, let's start on the ground. Oh, no, we don't want them on the ground. So it just helps me to go, okay, I see, you want them standing, you want them in a slinky shape, right? Like we are, as the choreographers, as the movement directors for this example, like we know the verbiage and we know how to get the talent there more quickly than anybody else on set. And that's why you're there. You're there to easily dictate what creative is being needed. And so I just think to myself, like, what's the easiest way and what's the quickest way, most efficient way to make this happen, because time is money on set always. And then also, while I'm doing this, how can this be friendly? How can this feel comfortable? Because the second talent starts to feel uncomfortable, you can see it. and it shows on screen. You can't hide that.
And also, you don't really want to work in an environment where the talent is feeling uncomfortable at like the prompts and the instruction that you're giving them.
And they don't want to work in that environment.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
1,000%.
And then no one else wants to be there because the vibes are off, right? So yeah, it's your job is so much more than just the movement. But then once all of those little pieces are put in place, the movement becomes easy because you've given them this freedom and this confidence and this openness. Like you've set that stage for them to then try things, and they feel comfortable trying things. It's like giving them the permission to do it. And I find that that's like the key for models. That's the key for actors. That's the key for artists that are not very comfortable in their bodies. It's really just like giving them the permission to take up space. Like I have one artist that I work with. He's awesome. His name is Matt Hansen, and he's just like so open and to trying all my things that I give him. And at one point I was like, okay, before every show, because he was going on tour, before every show, I need you to tell everybody to get out of the room. Can you do that? Can you take 10 minutes to yourself to not only stretch, but like kind of give him like a full warm up, like isolations, like head, neck, rib cage, all the things. And then I go, then just stand there in like a power stance, your feet right underneath your hips and your arms out, and expand like as much as you can. Lift your arms up, expand your body, and like breathe into that. Because that's really what people need. Otherwise they go and they're like apologetic for being there and taking up space. So that's our job to go, hey, you're here for a reason. You're here. Right. And let's do this, you know? So it's fun.
Yeah. How did you get into movement direction? Did you go like, was there a dancer, then turned choreographer, then turned director, then turned movement director, or
for me,
for you, or did you like what was your gateway into starting that role? Because it's not really a common role. A lot of people don't even know that movement direction exists. Especially when it's more related to the work where you are just directing non-dancers. A lot of people aren't aware that that is a necessary role on set. So how did you kind of get into that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it is kind of like in the broad sort of like scope of the industry. Like it's sort of a newer term, I guess we can say. Even though it has kind of been around like forever, I just don't think it's been labeled ever. So I was doing it before I knew what it was. You know, I would work with artists. Like I remember in my earlier like days of becoming a choreographer and finding my voice and what it is that I do, I was working with Sam Fisher, an artist who's brilliant, an insane voice, and such a beautiful human. And I didn't realize that just giving him like notes of like, when you sit back on the chair, like open up your shoulders, open up your chest to the camera. When you sit back or when you sit up, just tilt your head a little bit so that you're cheating out toward the lens so we don't lose your face. Just little things like that where it's like simple movement direction. I didn't realize that I was doing that, but it was just instinctual because like as people and choreographers and dancers, like we have such an awareness of the body that people don't have. So just giving those prompts were so easy for me. It was just so like, this is obvious to me.
Right.
But not to everybody. So, yeah. And then I guess when I really started and it became like a labeled thing, like this person is on the call sheet as the movement director, was so a photographer, Carlos Serrao. He's awesome. He's been around for a long time, and he always has like his finger on the pulse as far as like what's happening, what's cool, what's coming, what's up and coming. And he hit, like, we connected on Instagram, which is why like social media is actually such a beautiful tool if you're using it right.
Right.
Because it could also not be so great, but I really have found such benefit in it, and it's really been crucial to my career. So I commented on something. It was like an Athleta commercial that like he had worked on, and I was like, this is beautiful or something. And then we found each other because he was the photographer or director on it, and he was like, hey, I just checked out your page. Like, he DM'd me, just checked out your page, like, it's awesome. I'd love to meet up because I feel like your eye can see more than just like choreography. Because at that point I hadn't been posting like, I'm movement directing. Like, I was just doing it, right? So then I grabbed a coffee with him, and he was like, hey, in Europe they use movement directors all the time on a specifically print shoots, and I want to start doing that because I see such a difference in the product.
There's value in the role. Right.
Yes. So having someone who has that power be able to, it's so rare, right? Because we're all creatives, but it's really rare for someone to see you in a different role than what you're doing necessarily.
Right.
You almost have to like spoon feed it these days.
Right.
Like, I do commercial choreography, so I can of course do this choreography for your tour. Because you see it on my page all the time. Or like, I can tut because you see it on my page all the time, and so hire me for that tutting thing, right? But it's like, you kind of have to spoon feed these days what it is that you want to be doing.
Right.
Which is why concept videos and stuff are so important, but that's like another kind of thing.
Totally.
Which we could touch on. But, so I'm sitting with this guy, Carlos. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, he sees something in me that I have not necessarily like explained to the world that I do, but he's just able to be this creative that can dissect my work and see it in my work. And his words were, I feel like you think of the frame and its composition, like within the frame, with every part of your work that you do, and I see that within your work. And I was like, cool. And so he said, I feel like that will translate really well to print and models and movement, just getting people to move in this cool way behind the frame or behind the lens. And I was like, I've never done that for print, but I'm down, like, let's do it. And he hires me. The very first job that I did, like, got paid to do just movement direction for print, was for a Fabletics job, and it was with Kelly Rowland. Wow. And I was just like,
no pressure.
We're faking it till we make it. Like, I remember like palms were sweating, pits are sweating. I'm like walking onto set from the parking lot, and I was like, you do this all the time. You know, like, I had to just like tell myself that.
Pep talk all the way through.
The whole day.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, you do this. This is what you do. But we really do. Like, we movement direct 3-year-olds when you teach like a combo toddler class.
So true.
Like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's not too far. It's not foreign to like what it is that we know and do. And you just have to go, hey, this person saw me and is giving me this opportunity. I'm just going to show them what I can do. And so that was my first job, like really being paid to do it and being there and directing this celebrity talent.
Wow.
Which was really scary because she knows what she's doing.
1,000%.
And she could sniff if you're a faker.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, hold it together, be confident, and give her the confidence she needs. And she was great. It was a really cool shoot. Some of those shots are like